I'm one of the co-founders of Dynamic. What we'll do is two things. Oh, I need to speak to the microphone, right? Okay. We'll do two things. We will first see a quick demo of Dynamic and how it works. And then after that, we will kind of run through how to build your own thing within with scaffolding ETH, which is a really, really cool thing with Dynamic together, and kind of run through that. So those are kind of two steps. I'll run through the demo very quickly, and then I'll hand it over to Matt to actually run through the rest. But the way to think about Dynamic is everything that happens after you click login on a website. So Dynamic, as the name suggests, is very dynamic. It can be kind of a more Web3 first type experience, right? It can actually be a multi-chain. So if you're building on Bitcoin or Solana or EVM, it can actually work that way. Or it can be a very Web 2 first experience. So not talking about wallets at all, just social login, email login, and everything around that with wallet creation in the background. Now it's very customizable. So you can make it feel exactly like the rest of the product. You can kind of do it as an embedded thing. You can do it as a pop-up. It's, as the name suggests, it's very, very, very dynamic, right? It can feel exactly like the rest of your product. You don't have to change anything. You can change colors, themes, copy, everything. You can change kind of order of things. So you can say, hey, social login first. Let's merge these. Let's split them. Remove the continue button. Do this fully headless. Whatever your heart desires, you can actually do. Now, the cool thing is with Dynamic, you really kind of, if you don't have a wallet, if the user doesn't have a wallet, and you log in, it's within a single click, it generates a wallet. So that's pretty much it. That was the entire kind of experience, and you got a non-custodial wallet. The end user can export that wallet at any point, but then where it gets really cool is you can start adding things to the profile that was created. So in this case, I added a couple couple third-party wallets. I can link additional wallets across chains. I can kind of, do things and link kind of different MetaMask wallets. So I can kind of, let's unlink this one as an example and add a different MetaMask wallet. So I can add a MetaMask wallet, pop it up, and link it to the same account. So you can start building these really sophisticated experiences for user management. You can also link additional social login methods, right? So this user, for instance, that has multiple login methods, has this really cool kind of structure to the user information of a bunch of verified credentials for that user. So all the wallets that were connected, all the emails that were connected in a single spot. Now, Dynamic takes it a step further, and you have this full user dashboard where you can start doing fancy stuff. So you can essentially, for instance, say, look, if someone logs in with a wallet, let me ask them for an email address, or let me ask them for additional custom fields as part of their onboarding, or create access lists. So you can say, only folks that log into my site with this specific email or this specific forecaster ID can actually access or kind of get a scope access to that site. So for instance, let's log out and kind of try to log in with the wallet. And if that wallet has access, then Dynamic kind of turns from just an authentication tool into kind of a full onboarding platform. So in this case, I can capture someone's email or social login or anything like that as part of the flow. So it's not just authentication, but it's onboarding and authorization as well. Now, Dynamic is kind of really, again, as the name suggests, dynamic. So you can see it in action in different places. So on Magic Eden, for instance, Magic Eden is fully powered by Dynamic. So if you log into Magic Eden, that all uses Dynamic. And what you can see they've done is they let you now link your Solana wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, your EVM wallet into a single spot. You can kind of link additional wallets very quickly. And here, this is, as you can see, it looks like Dynamic. This is actually Dynamic. And so you can mix and match between a headless version of the product or kind of a more detailed version. A good example, Berachain, which is a social-fi type game, uses Dynamic, but just with email. Or Eurocaster uses Dynamic with kind of Forecaster login, right? So you can actually build different experiences very quickly. So if Berachain is an example, all core Berachain apps use Dynamic. So there are different kind of versions of how you can implement this, and it's all with toggles on the dashboard. So it's very, very easy to get started. And with that, I'll probably hand it over to Matt to actually go through how to build something very quickly. Go for it, Matt.
All right. Can we see? Wait, can we not see?
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Hit allow.
Okay. This talk was not titled this, but I am going to try and give you some superpowers, because we were looking last week at what took people the longest to get going with their project and realized it's not actually integrating Dynamic, it's not onboarding, it's the glue to put everything together. If you try to build in your account abstraction layer, your chain abstraction layer, connecting to all of the wallets to actually verify and sign for those transactions, it's not so easy. And we don't want you to have to spend time building the basics. We want you just to build the project. So what we did on top is build something called the Hackathon Starter Kit version of Scaffold ETH. And this is a community project to help you get going. We chose only partners of ETHGlobal because we're here for bounties, let's be honest. We're also here to build something super cool, but it involves getting bounties along the way. So all of these are partners of ETHGlobal. All of them have bounties, and it allows you to integrate them super, super quickly. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how to set it up. You can then copy and paste the code snippets that you need to do certain things into your own project, or you can use this one. So to be honest, I think quite lucky if you're here to see it in action, because again, the title of the talk is not this. I'm sure it will be shared more broadly a bit later, but let's give it a go. The easiest thing you can do to get started is npx create dynamic app. You can also clone the repository. I can give you a QR code, but if you do this, it's one line. You can choose Scaffold ETH Hacker Edition. Give it, oh God, I hope, how many numbers do I need to go for? Let's try 15. How many times have I installed this? You can take a guess. And it's done. It cloned the repository. It will remove the remote URL so you don't end up pushing to the original with your hackathon project. And that's it. You can now follow all of the documentation from the README, which is exactly the same as Scaffold ETH, which, by the way, he's staying very quiet, but there is Austin in the back who helped build Scaffold ETH. So if it's working well, cool, talk to me, and if it's not, he's there. No worries. So all you need to do is yarn. We can do that here, but I won't, because we all know how long that'll take. You can run yarn, and then you can run two other commands. Yarn chain will start a local network, and yarn start will start your front end. And once you have it up and running, you'll see something like this. So I'm just going to give you a tour of what you get straight out of the box. It's all of this stuff. Like I say, it's the glue. Okay, so the first thing is that dynamic is there by default. It has a default environment ID, so you can see this set up. You can also add your own environment ID and customize it. So let's say we want to log in with MetaMask. Let's do it over here. We are already logged in and connected to base Sepolia. Now, we all know there are a lot of EVM networks here, and they're all amazing. So I tried to add one and then felt like, crap, they're all amazing, so I added them all. Every single EVM network that's here, which has a bounty, indeed we all do, is present. All you have to do to start testing is click connect, and in the code you can now start signing messages, signing transactions. You can flip over, and I'm going to introduce you to the code now. Here in packages, in Next.js, you'll see a bunch of things like components and lib. So you'll see in dynamic, this is how you can send a transaction. You'll see that this is how you can sign a message. Our docs also have this, but it's good to know because it ties up with sign hello world and send some ETH to yourself. You notice that we also had a local network running. So if you're deploying contracts and testing, you will be using that hard hat network most likely. So all you have to do is switch to it, and it works out of the box. You can also not just sign up with a wallet, you could sign up with email and get an embedded wallet, so people don't have to worry about Web3, exactly the same flow. Beyond that, there are a few amazing technologies out there like Polygon, Arbitrum, and they have things like Orbit. Orbit means you can deploy your own L2 or an app chain or any kind of roll-up you want, which is incredible. If you're going for something quite deep, really cool, it actually takes only about 15 minutes to set up one of these chains. I tried it with Orbit. I'll show you over here. This is it running. You don't need to worry about what it's actually saying, but we have a local app chain running. It's a roll-up. Why am I showing you this? Because should you want to enable your own network, if you're running your own chain, here in the Networks tab, you can see the format. These are very easy to find things. You can find them for any network on Chainlist. I'm going to uncomment this one. Let's see if we don't need to reload. We don't. We're going to connect to our own local running chain, and off we go. Let's sign a message. Let's send some ETH to ourselves. I put this warning in just to show you how you can do different UX patterns. You can see it in the code. we will sign and send. Just like that, it's done. If we go to the Block Explorer, which comes with this local chain, this runs on BlockScout. Again, another provider of ETHGlobal. If you go to the blockchain, you go to transactions, you can inspect your coin transfer. So this is all the glue which ties it together. All of the code is in here. You see in the BlockScout lib, a few lines, copy it over, you can start querying your own transactions. Even more interestingly, if you go to the Smart Wallet tab, this is new for this version of Scaffold ETH. Safe, one of the amazing providers out there, I'm a huge fan, allows you to deploy an AA layer. So we'll do it on base Sepolia. All you need to do is click this button and you have a safe account. If you want to add the same in your code, it's over in, I think, app, safe, page, not refresh, not transfer. We have copy to clipboard. And up here, there is deploying a safe wallet. So you can grab that code, check it out, and not have to worry about any of the setup. Once you've done that, you might want to do a cross-chain transfer. Chainlink, who's also out there and is amazing. Done. I think what I'm trying to say is we're all amazing. That's pretty much the point of this talk. But no, I'm just trying to be fair because it's hard to leave out every different kind of technology. So let's see, do we have any balance? Why don't we fund it from the Circle faucet? This is something you can build into your app if you're building on something and you want to let people get stuff very quickly. Let's copy our USDC address, put it in, and what we need to do is move to base Sepolia. Token sent. Let's give this a go. You can now control this flow as you want. We've just kept it plain and simple, so there are multiple approvals on your safe. You could batch up the transactions, you could do it in any way you want. You can have passkey MFA, you can have one-time code MFA to your email, or you can have no MFA at all and just, it's probably unfair to call it silent sign, right? But you can just sign without any process in the back end. Depends on what you're going for. If it's a consumer app, you might want to bundle and just allow the transactions through. It's a big trust assumption, so take that as you will. Passkeys are always there for you. We now have a transaction initiated successfully, as far as I can see, and here we can query it on BlockScout. So that's using the API calls in there. Amazing. So was there anything else that we wanted to show? I can leave a few minutes for questions at the end. As far as dynamic goes, Itai showed you it active on a few sites, but there are many different ways you could implement it. You can do it like Web3 native, completely Web2. I think Doodles is a reasonable example of that. You can do it through Telegram. You can do it through Farcaster. There's a full Farcaster guide section. So in any way you want, you should just be able to pick up the SDK and embed it, pretty much as we've done here. There's also the React Native SDK, if you want to use that for mobile. And you can always browse through the documentation to find anything else. So with that said, the idea behind it is I'm going to show you our prizes. We have here, we're not in London, although that was a really fun time. Here we go. So we tried to tie it in and help you build creative, interesting stuff. The first is for cross-chain. The second is to abstract away crypto, just improve life for people in general, but without them knowing they're using crypto. It's to get around the fact that there's a, literal on-ramp in their minds to, oh no, this is crypto. Then SocialFi, which can fall under quite a broad bracket, but as long as you have a financial incentive to run a social experience or experiment, you're in. Really cool. And then the best integration, so whatever you combine different technologies into to do something novel will qualify. This is because I really want to have fun. Thank you, Timer, for suggesting it. But often, we get too far into the weeds, like the technical stuff and this, but often people just want to have fun. Ideally in Web 2, right? We all know that we love using crypto for fun, like Farcaster and stuff, but if we can use it to have fun for people who know nothing about it, that would be absolutely incredible. Okay, I think I'm on time, in fact, under time. Last thing, we use Pimlico as the paymaster. All the transactions are sponsored with gas. Because it's on a test net, you don't need to create a policy or anything. Just sign up for Pimlico, get an API key, plug it in. and you're good to go. It's all sponsored. If you want to go to mainnet, then you will need your own policy, but you can do that on the Pimlico website. If you want support, Discord, dynamic channel, or ask any of the partners, because most of them know about this. What I'm going to try and do next is deploy a chain on Polygon CDK and plug this in here. But yeah, if you have any questions, we've got the booth over there, and we'll be around all weekend. Easy? Thank you. Sorry. Hey, question? Hello.
You showed at the beginning that you can let the user sign up with email.
Right.
The embedded wallet, but you could also get some other information like first name, but you can make custom fields.
Yes,
So we could have, like, if we wanted to keep track of someone's EAM quota for a gas meter.
Nice. Yes.
So, and can you show where we do that?
Yeah.
Where's it stored? Do you have a local database? Or?
Yeah, so it's stored on Dynamics, kind of on AWS.
Yeah.
Essentially, for custom fields, here I'll
Do this?
grab this for a second.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Essentially, on custom fields, for any custom field, you can do it API based. So in our docs, just search custom information capture, and there's like a kit that shows you how you create kind of a custom field, input type, whether you want any regex type validation.
And you would link that to that wallet address.
Correct, that's right, to that user account. Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. You could put multiple, you can have them show up during onboarding or show up later on, so you have that full,
Okay.
full
So-
functionality.
Here's the default fields, which you can just turn on. You can either skip them during onboarding or not. And then with custom information capture, you can enable whatever fields you want. It's up to you when you ask for them, by the way. You can ask up front, or you can ask like gradually when you're giving value.
But that would basically save us from having to create our own database.
Indeed,
That's
yeah.
exactly right.
To link that wallet to their EAM code.
That's exactly right. More than that, there's so everything user management you can do through Dynamic. So there's a metadata field. So if you want to store information and you don't want to surface it to the user, you can also use that. So if you want to store additional information on the user object, you can do that too.
Okay.
Not just for information capture purposes.
In the last moment, just on that point, as well as linking information, you can obviously, if you have an embedded wallet, you can link an EOA. And if you're on a single EOA, you want to, for example, add your Coinbase as well, you can do that. And because it's fully compatible with Smart Wallet, you can just add that in as well using passkeys. So yeah, multiple information, but also multi-wallet linking as well, which is quite cool.
And
Link.
one more cool, so two other important things. If you're building in consumer crypto and you want, after you create your wallet, there's a concept of transaction MFA. You need an approval or passkey for transacting. If you want to remove that requirement, come to our booth.
Oh yeah,
And add you to a feature flag.
there you go.
Remove that. So essentially, as soon as the user logs in, you can just click and transact with no additional pop-ups. Just come to our booth. We'll add you to that feature flag, and you'll be on your merry way. Just create an account, app.dynamic.xyz, come with the environment ID,